Hello and welcome to the Clear Voice, brought to you by Clear Career Professionals. I'm your host, James Groom. We're quickly approaching Christmas 2025 as this is being recorded, and Clear Career Professionals wants to provide you, the listeners, with a special year-end episode to introduce you to some of our talented team. I'm normally the one asking the questions, but I figure I'd start out this episode by answering the questions I will later pose to the team. So question number one is, thinking back on this past year, what are you most thankful for, personally or professionally? Personally, I'd like to say thank you to my wife. I'm very grateful for her. She's not only my rock, helping me through the peaks and valleys of life, but she also keeps my ego in check. To my friends and family who are there when I need them, thank you so much. I'm also thankful for the Clear team and those I'm fortunate to work with in my full-time job. I've learned so much about myself this year, and I look forward to growing more in the coming year. I'm also thankful for this podcast and the people who take the time out of their busy lives to listen. I hope that you're able to take something positive from each episode and grow just a tiny bit. We will continue to work to have amazing guests, and of course, we will always bring you all the details of our recruitments. The podcast was something pitched to me in such a way that I wasn't sure the offer was real, and now looking back on where we started, I'm so grateful that I've been able to tackle this challenge. It's funny that our first episode was recorded while I was traveling in July on vacation on a cruise boat, very late at night for me, traveling 18 knots through the Mediterranean Sea. Thank you to our friends at Pflugerville for being the test case, and while their position has long been filled, I was hooked after the first episode as getting to hear James Hartshorn and Emily Barone from Pflugerville describe all the amazing things about their community, and the position they had was amazing. The second question I'll be asking our team is what they are looking forward to on our for next year. For me, it's pretty simple, and that is growth. I want to continue to growing the show and myself. I have several goals that I want to work towards, which was one of the focuses of episode number 18 with City Manager Austin Blease, aka the Grant Whisperer. If you're interested in grants or goals, I'd highly recommend going back and listening to that episode. The final question I'll ask the members of Clear I interviewed is for any advice for leaders going into 2026. I would like to say that over the past few years, it has been a slow realization for me, but if you're not already focusing on the people, then you're missing a key piece of the puzzle. The people are the ones doing all the work. Our job as leaders is to provide them the tools they need and support them through the ups and downs that come with any job. We need to be mindful of their mental and physical health and wellness. They are the most important asset in your organization. Take care of the people, and they'll take care of all the other things. I'd like to encourage you to continue listening as you'll hear from several of our Clear team members. And I'd also like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks. Now with us for our 2025 wrap-up session of the Clear Voice is Kevin Boese. Kevin is the VP of Candidate Relationships for Clear. Kevin, thanks for joining us today, and how are you doing?
I'm doing really good, James. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you. And you have one of those roles that's, at least for the city side, is a little bit behind the scenes, but you are face-to-face with the candidates week in and week out. Tell us a little bit of what you do at your role at Clear.
I make sure that we're contacting weekly the candidates, and then make sure all of the information, as in the cover letters and resumes, are put in the right category, so we're able to share those with the city, that type of thing. And just making sure, definitely getting a hold of each candidate and letting them know where they stand. That's been a passion of Clear, is to make sure that we're staying in touch with the candidates and helping them understand where they are in the process. And I think that's an awesome piece that we offer.
Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of sets Clear apart. Although most places are going to contact candidates, as the major phases go through, and a lot of times it's just a canned letter. We're actually, at least if they'll answer the phone, week in and week out, we're normally giving them a phone call and answering their questions and all those kind of things, aren't we?
Absolutely. Like, I have no hesitancy about sharing my email address, and we definitely communicate a lot via that manner. But if you call us through our phone system, you're able to get a hold of, whether it be Mike all the way down to any one of the rest of us, that you can reach out and contact us at any time. If not, get a hold of us directly. leave us a voicemail where we can follow up with you pretty quickly.
Well, Kevin, I really appreciate what you and Haley do on the candidate relationship side of things. We've all applied for jobs, and it's a little frustrating when you put a lot of effort into it and you might get an email back at the end of it. It's nice getting that personal phone call, I'm sure, for those candidates waiting for an answer.
Yeah, and obviously, our clients are the cities, so we work with them directly, and we might not always have an exact answer you want to hear, but we'll be able to keep you informed as the process goes through and how that's going to look.
Yeah, definitely. So with this show, we just kind of wanted to look back at the year of 2025 for our team members. And the first question that I have is, when you're thinking back on 2025, what are you most thankful for? And that can be, personally or professionally.
Well, I think it kind of ties together for me, James. It's been a really interesting year for me. I know this company originated about 3 years ago, but toward the end of 2024, I had been working for a communications company for approximately 29 years, like 28 years, 11 months, and a week. That was a better part of my career life. It just so happened that they had asked if I would like to take a retirement package. I'm really thankful for actually being able to see the Lord's hand in my life with the whole piece of dealing with an elderly parent. She's starting to do a little elling right now, and I was getting to a place where I needed to be around her a lot more rather than just bouncing in once during the day. She was needing a lot more attention. And for me, it was being able to see the Spirit's work in my life and giving me the opportunity to be able to do what I do. Kind of being able to work for Clear now has really made it nice to where I could be around the house here and do a lot of virtual work and still be able to take care of her. And then also turning 59 and a half to where I can lean on that 401k as well. And it just kind of all fell together to where I guess when people ask you, how do you know there's a God? I can say it really becomes a personal experience and how you see his work in your life. And that's really been an eye opener for me in this past year and how it's all came together like it should.
Yeah, it's amazing how those things fall in place. And best wishes for your mom. And I know, that's a tough job, and we're glad not only do you do what you do for Clear, but helping mom out too. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate and blessed, James, so I appreciate it.
Well, Kevin, we also want to look forward to the future of 2026. What are you most excited about? It could be at Clear or something broader in local government or personally.
Like I said, being able to work here at home, but also making sure that we stay personally in touch with those candidates. I've just been able to get a hold of that more, yeah, as we progress throughout this year. And I think it's going to be really encouraging to meet a lot of good people. I know the passion I've seen with Mike and being able to help the cities out. I think that's kind of really important for us right now in this day and age for, just being able to do everything we can for the cities in an affordable way. There's a budget process even in the private industry, but for cities, I'm sure it's real similar. So just being able to help, like I said, seeing Mike's passion for the cities and wanting to help them in a way that, can be the best value for them, I think is really the focus that I want to continue to work on.
And his passion's a little contagious.
It is. Yeah, and we've noticed that too with our meetings, right? I mean, all of the different folks. I think that's a piece that is really encouraging for me. I know we were able to meet Bob in our last meeting. He's here in Durango, which is in Colorado, where I'm from. So just being able to understand and work with more and more cities as we go along and spread our wings throughout the country. Hopefully we really catch on good. I think we've seen a lot of progress in the last 3 years. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Yeah. Earlier, I was talking to Michael, and he said that over the Thanksgiving holidays or that weekend, maybe you guys got a really good email from one of the candidates, obviously without sharing their name. Did you want to talk about that?
We do a weekly follow-up with each one of the candidates, making sure we're talking to them personally and giving them what we know. Sometimes we might not have a drop dead date as far as when applications are not going to be taken anymore, and then we're going to move on to the interview process and that type of thing. I just decided, instead of giving them a call over the week of Thanksgiving, to just shoot them an email and wish them, a happy Thanksgiving, and that we are still here if they would like to reach out to us via email or phone call. And yeah, I just had one of the candidates reply and said he's never had a recruitment company do, or a firm do that. And so, yeah, that was kind of heartfelt for me. But, my past industry life, I definitely stayed in touch with our customers, that type of thing. So it just kind of felt natural to me. But it seems like it went a lot further than what typically happens. But that's, like I said, the passion in the company that we work for, and we want to continue to strive to do those things.
It's amazing sometimes those small things that can just make a world of difference to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, can you tell me, this year, was there a defining moment? And maybe this one was it. Maybe we've already talked about it. But a moment that really reminded you of why you do what you do.
That was definitely a defining moment. And I've heard so much more of that, from the candidates as we go along here. It's really been comforting to me to work with my brother in a recruitment firm, just because so much of the private industry that I was involved with, I was dealing with customers who weren't necessarily happy with the company that I was working for. So it was more tough interactions than clear and what we're doing now. So far, I haven't had a disgruntled candidate, you know what I mean? So, you've got the ones that'll ask a lot of questions, and then I always try to get the recruiter involved to help answer those questions. But it's just been really nice for me to work with people who's actually glad to be talking to you, and you can have a civil conversation. It's been pretty cool like that.
Yeah, well, that's good. I know you're prepared for that one day you might have a disgruntled candidate, but I'm glad that it's been so positive for you.
I've been through a couple of those in my lifetime.
Well, looking back this year, where do you think Clear made the biggest impact?
Definitely that personal touch. And again, we talk about the passion that we have for, whether it be our candidates or whether it be the cities as our clients, just striving to do our best to help the cities and plug the right people into the position. I know it goes much further than what but I know when you're involved in the interviews, just really trying to understand who we're plugging in with the city that might be looking for that particular position. We're just always doing our best to make sure we get the right candidate for the right city, that they might be able to go there and grow and flourish and make it a good situation for the city that we're working for.
Yes, definitely. Well, I've got one more question for you, but before I ask it, do you have anything that you'd like to share, or anything I missed?
I know it's just once a week that we get on with our meetings, but I always look forward to those. We got a really good group of people that work for us here at Clear. It's always excited to get to hear their opinions and where we should go.
The last question I've got for you is, as we head into 2026, do you have any lessons, any advice, or encouragement that you could pass on to leaders of local municipalities as they're faced with the tough challenges they got to deal with every day?
Well, from my perspective as a leader in the past for 20 years, I think the biggest piece that stands out in my mind about being a leader is just the genuine care that you would have for me, it'd be my employees. I think that's real crucial. I think if you don't have a genuine care for your employees or your subordinates, however that may look for where you're at. There's really not much you will tend to offer them, I mean, if you're going to offer them your best, you're going to genuinely care. There might be scenarios they go through that you really need to be attentive to. And I've noticed in the past that was one of my bigger takeaways, is to make sure that get to know them, be able to know who their wife is, who their significant other is, be able to talk to them about that, and, just have a genuine appreciation for who they are, and they're going to be able to perform for you.
It makes all the difference in the world.
Yes, it does.
Well, Kevin, I want to say thank you for coming on with us today and kind of celebrating this wrap up for 2025 for Clear and the Clear Voice. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll catch you next time.
Cool. Thank you, James. Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Joining me now in the studio is Marty Schmitt. He's a board member of Clear Career Professionals, and he's also the president of AGCM. Welcome to the show, Marty, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Marty, this is the first time you've been on the show, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do at Clear and what you do at AGCM?
Sure. Yes. I'm the president and CEO of AGCM, which is Anderson Group Construction Management, and we're an owner's rep firm. So we solely represent the owners in their public projects. You can kind of look at it or talk about it as it's the analogy I like to use is if we work at a school district, we're kind of the construction arm for the school district, right? You have principals and you got superintendents they're educating our students. And so we kind of take the construction from them. So projects from A to Z, we help them through programming, design, construction, closeout, and turnover. And so that's kind of the big picture of what AGCM does from an owner's rep standpoint. My position at Clear is a board member, an external board member. And what I help, I think, Mike with is just the business acumen for the business and help with strategy, help with future. He's got a great vision for the company. So it's really easy to work with them and the rest of the board members. But that's typically what I help them with right now.
Well, we appreciate your time at Clear, and especially at AGCM. That's one of those things where you guys are, you solely represent the client that you're working with. So when, you're recommending something on the construction for a change order or something like that, it's all in the client's best interest, and it's not helping you out financially to do so. So I know there's a lot of problems when you've got huge construction projects going on, and if you don't have somebody on your team, it can be more expensive than it should be.
Absolutely. And to that point, with Clear Career, it's all about people. I mean, that's what it is at AGCM. I mean, our number one asset is people, right? We don't have equipment, we don't have buildings, we don't have trucks and construction equipment. We solely have our people, and that's 90% of our costs. So our people are the most important thing, and that's the same thing with Clear Career. It's about being the servant leader and doing our best and putting everything out there for all the people that are out there, for sure.
Thank you. So when we think back on this past year, what are you most thankful for? And that could either be personally or professionally.
Personally, family, definitely family. My wife and I have 2 kids, and it has been absolutely bonkers with their activities. My wife and I just kind of pass each other in the evening. We're the Uber drivers for them. My son plays football and soccer. My daughter's in competitive cheer, and it's something every day, every night, every weekend, going somewhere. So to me, that's just joy. I make it sound like it's a burden. It's definitely not. I mean, totally living through our kids right now. So that's definitely absolutely grateful and thankful for that. Having a supporting wife. I mean, Mike and my wife being able to support the activities and things that I like to do. To me, work is a hobby for me. So I love working. So for me, it's always a challenge to be able to turn it off. And she does a great job reminding me when I need to turn it off. So just absolutely grateful for them as my family. Professionally, this last year for us at AGCM it's been a busy year, and obviously with Clear the same. So just being so grateful for having the opportunities at Clear and AGCM, just the outside world being able to give us the opportunities to give back, which has been great.
Yeah, I would agree. Giving ourselves the cities and helping them navigate through some of those difficult decisions has been very rewarding.
Absolutely.
So as we move into 2026, what are you most excited about? It could be about local government or something at Clear or anything else.
excited, but also crazy anxious would be AI. There are so many possibilities with AI, I think. And, one of my pushes through AGCM in 26 is becoming more efficient and, looking at AI and how that can help us. And, we've created a committee and a challenge internally about AI of what that could do for us. And so that's just scratching the surface. And so where the anxiety comes from or being anxious about it is, it seems like you can find a new program tomorrow and in maybe a week it doesn't exist, or it's rolled up into something else, or there's something better. So it's, it's that fear of missing out, the FOMO. I'm excited about it, but I'm also quite anxious about it. That's for sure.
I think integrating that's going to be very important. And also in businesses like you have, and also what Clear does is integrating it, but not losing the human connection. Cause you said it right at the beginning, people are everything. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll end the show with talking about your one lesson or encouragement that you'd pass on to leaders as we head into the new year based on something you've learned, lived, or overcome.
I would think going into 26, for a lot of people, what I've learned in 25 and going into 26 is continuing to stay humble. I mean, humility is enormous. I think vulnerability is extremely important, being self-aware. With the world changing, the economy change, everything, all the changes and all the craziness that's going on, we have got to be open-minded. And I think that's a big, big piece I'd like a lot of people to be thinking about as they move forward into 26. It's definitely what I, push in our leadership team, is you've got to be open-minded. And, just talking about the AI, if we're not open-minded to AI, we're going to get left in the dust. And that's something that, worries me and concerns me about the future is we've got to be open-minded. So I think just, being humble, definitely being open-minded, being vulnerable, and then just being self-aware. I think that's three big things moving forward. It's, there's no technique to it. It's not technical. It's all in your head. It's all your attitude and behavior and how you kind of, think about things moving forward. So I think that's important. The mental state moving forward in 26.
Well, thank you for that. I'm sure that's a great lesson for, I know for myself and for many others is staying humble. And we appreciate you leaving us with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Marty, just for the listeners, we will have a show hopefully sometime in January where we're going to talk a little bit more about what AGCM does and what services that you guys offer and how a company like yours can reduce those costs and reduce the headaches that come with major construction projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Happy New Year to you, and we will see you later down the road, Marty.
Thank you. You too.
Welcome back to the Clear Voice 2025 end of year show. I'm with Deanna Hendrix, who's our VP of Organizational Development. Welcome to the show, Deanna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well.
Well, it's good to see you back on the podcast. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Well, we're going to have to get you back in on 2026, but we do appreciate you showing up for this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do there at Clear? I think the last time that you were on, we didn't even cover any of that.
I do a little bit of everything. I think the biggest thing that I do that people would know about would be the brochures, but a lot of what I do for Clear is on the back end.
Yeah, the brochures are definitely very important. We don't want to make the news like that one company who put the wrong city's picture on the brochure.
Well, I do my best, and I always have at least one or two people check my work to make sure that we're not making mistakes like that.
Yeah, that's definitely embarrassing. So I'm glad that you're much better than that. So we appreciate what you do.
Don't jinx it.
Well, you can send it to me. I'll triple check it.
Okay.
In this episode, we want to ask everybody when they think back about the past year, what they're most thankful for, and that can be personally or professionally.
All in all, what I'm most thankful for is relationships. Personally, I'm thankful for my relationships with my kids who have grown a lot in the last year. Professionally, I'm grateful for our team, our partners, our candidates, and all of those relationships that we've built.
That is one of the most important things, those relationships.
Yes.
Well, as we look forward to 2026, what are you most excited about? Something personal, something happening at Clear, or even a broader trend in local government?
I'm going to go with conferences. I love attending the conferences. Kind of a little secret, one thing that I do when we go to the conferences, because we have so many conversations and I often learn a lot about a lot of different people. So sometimes I have a little idea here and there to create some custom gift for somebody that we meet at the conference. And it's separate from the drawings and stuff that we do. It's just something personal. I think it's important that people feel heard and feel important. And I think that working in government, it can be really lonely, right? So I don't know. I just like to throw a random act of kindness out there. So in 2026, I definitely want to do more of that.
It's nice to be recognized or feel like somebody's paying attention to you. Which conference is your favorite?
TMHRA.
TMHRA.
Yes, that's the Texas Municipal Human Resources Conference.
Well, I'm excited for it. I know you guys just got done with TML just a few weeks ago, and it seemed like that was a success as well. So we're definitely looking forward to all your successes at the conferences and whatever happens there. Mike said stays at the conference, right? We can't talk about any of the tea, right?
Well, no, you just had to be there.
Okay, well, show up and you can experience the tea.
Yes.
If you had to describe your 2025 in one word, what word would it be and why?
I'm going to go with omnicompetent, because I think that this year really showed that Clear and the Clear team has been able to handle any situation.
We've got some amazing folks. It's great when we have our weekly meeting, and there's some of the names in there are people that I'd be excited about if they were on a conference and they were teaching a class that I was going to, much less I get to sit in a room and listen to them talk about these different problems and different solutions to these things. So it's kind of an amazing feeling.
I agree.
Okay. Omnicompetence.
Yes.
Is that the word? Okay.
Yes.
That's a big word.
Latin.
It's Latin. Yeah. It's a good word. I like it.
Thanks.
So, before we wrap up, I've got one more question for you, but, is there anything that I didn't cover that you're going to want to talk about before we wrap up?
No.
Okay. Final chance.
Nope, that's okay.
Okay. Can you think of one lesson or piece of advice that you could give to leaders in local government as they enter the new year, faced with the challenges that they have to deal with every day?
I would say to create a safe space for your staff to come and talk to you so that you can facilitate a culture of transparency. Personally, I think that transparency has a closer relationship with integrity than honesty. And honesty is great. It means that if I ask you a question, James, did you break my microphone? You would say, yeah, I did. But in transparency, you would just come and tell me that without me having to ask. And that's great for me because I'm not great at asking the right questions all of the time. This year, Marty from our team actually gave me some feedback, and it hurt my feelings, to be honest, but it was the best thing for me because it gave me the opportunity to grow personally and professionally, and I think I really needed that. So personally, I really appreciate that we have that transparency and that kind of culture with Clear. And so that would be my advice, is to try to create a safe space where those conversations can take place and growth can take place.
We can't fix the problem if we're not open to hearing about it.
Exactly.
Well, Deanna, thank you for your time. I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll catch you in 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joining me now on the wrap-up show for 2025 is Kelly Kuenstler. She's one of the vice presidents at Clear. Kelly, it's good to see you, and this is not your first time on the show, so thanks for coming back and talking with us.
It's always great to be here with you, James.
Well, I feel the same way. While we're doing this show, we wanted to ask a few questions, and the first one would be, when you think back on this year, what are you most thankful for? And it could be personally or professionally.
I think I'm most thankful personally for my family and my continued faith. I think during these times, faith is super important, and I'm glad that I've been able to hold on to it. And I hope that I can spread some of that faith to family and friends.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And as we move into 2026, what are you most excited about?
Most excited about my upcoming travels. Ever since I retired and started doing consulting, I have been traveling abroad a couple of times a year. In 2026, I'm going to get to go to Southeast Asia, going to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Cambodia. So that'll be a fun one. That's in the spring. And then the fall, I get to go to Spain and Portugal. And actually, I'm going to do some time on the River of Gold there. So I'm super excited about that the upcoming year. I'm also excited about continuing to get to hang out with my 4- and 6-year-old grandbabies. They are the light of my life, and I just enjoy every minute that I get to spend with them.
That's great. When you go to Southeast Asia, that's on my list of places to go. I haven't been yet. Is there one standout place that you're most looking forward to going to?
I'm probably most excited about being in the Indonesia area in Bali. There is a small town outside of Bali that I'm going to visit, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's where Julia Roberts filmed Eat, Pray, Love. And so I'm super excited to go up into that area and get to see some of the landmarks.
That's great. I definitely have not seen that movie, but I will, if I ever make it out to Bali, which I hope to, I'll see if we can visit that as well.
That'd be great. I'd love to go diving in Bali. Here, there's lots of cool diving there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that sounds exciting. If you could describe your 2025 in one word, what would it be and why?
I'm going to go with limitless. Just think of the innovation we've watched unfold this past year, especially in AI and technology. The sky really seems to be the limit right now. And I think it's exciting and unbelievable, but it's also a little bit scary.
Yeah, limitless would be exciting and scary. I think that's a good description for it. Was there a moment this year that reminded you why you do what you do?
I think there was a couple, but for the same reason. We have been able to identify through our consulting work cities that weren't completely on board with professional development for staff, particularly through TML and the other affiliates that are associated with TML. And I feel like we made a significant difference for some city staff in advocating for continuing education and professional development as a means to betterment in general and as a means to professionalize their city operation. You know, it's the small and the unforeseen victories that actually make me smile. We just want to be part of the improvement of municipal operations, and I do feel like we're doing that.
It's amazing how people come in from the outside and probably say some of the same things that the staff has said, but since it's coming from an outside expert, they're more willing to implement those things. It's amazing to be able to actually get some of those things accomplished.
Sure.
Well, who or what inspired you the most this year, either inside or outside of work?
You know, when you think back on 2025, we saw medical victories, we saw environmental milestones, some cool space missions. But I think my biggest inspiration probably came from watching us attempt to spread human kindness, whether it be through natural disasters, initiatives demonstrating compassion, or simply trying to be our kindest self in municipal operations. There's a lot of ugly out there right now in politics and elsewhere, and I find it inspiring when we don't stoop to that level, but instead we try to remind each other that there's still kindness and decency in the world.
Yeah, it's important to remember. I think you'd probably agree that there's so much good in the world, but it doesn't get elevated. It doesn't get shown on the news, and that's not usually what's all over social media. It's the limited amount of bad that gets pushed because that's what people want to watch. So it's amazing when we can actually celebrate the goodness.
I agree. I wish we could project the good and amplify the good because there's so much of it.
Definitely. What is one thing that stood out to you about Clear's culture in 2025?
I think it was our values of integrity and accountability. They do seem to guide our daily actions. And I like that we're living and we're operating like that. Pretty simple, but I am proud that we operate in this manner. And quite frankly, if we didn't, I wouldn't be here. I'm just so proud that we live our values. I think there are times when we underpromise and overdeliver, but I would much rather have it that way than overpromising. And I don't think we do that. And I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah, thank you. And finally, we'll leave everybody with your piece of advice or lesson or encouragement that you want to pass on to leaders as we head into the new year.
Sure. I think the best professional advice that I would give right now for leaders, city employees, continue to uphold your integrity, continue to engage with the community, and continue to develop skills while you balance that efficiency with public service values.
Well, here sometime shortly, we'll be recording you and Brad Stafford will be coming on and talking about burnout. So that definitely relates to continue doing your mission and community outreach for city employees. So maybe that pod will help them out.
Hope so. That's the plan.
Well, great. Well, Kelly, we appreciate all the work that you do for CLEAR. This has been an amazing year, and we are looking forward to all the fun that's going to come in 2026. And we just want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to welcome James Hopper to the program. James, thank you for being on the end of year program with us, and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, James. I appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate that we've had a couple of opportunities to have the James and James show throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to more of those in 2026.
It's not only informative, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell everybody a little bit about your background? Because even though you've been on the show a couple of times, I'm not sure that we've actually gotten into your background and also kind of what you do for CLEAR as well.
Been an educator all my life. I started off as a teacher and a coach, and then transitioned into mid-management. I served as an assistant principal a couple of years, and then I was a high school principal for 10, and then finished off my career in that aspect of it as a superintendent for 16 years in public school. I continue today to mentor superintendents, and I also train school boards besides everything else that we do for CLEAR. So far with CLEAR, I've been involved in some searches for city administrators and other executive C-suite positions.
Well, we appreciate what you've done in the past. Being an educator is a really hard job, and that's saying somebody who also has a hard job. So we appreciate your service there, and especially what you're doing for CLEAR for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you, sir.
The first question that we want to ask people as we're wrapping up this year is looking back on 2025, what are you most thankful for? And that could be personally or professionally.
Well, I am really most thankful, and this is going to sound very general, but I'm most thankful for having the opportunity to still serve in leadership. And when I say serve in leadership, when we go out with CLEAR and we do a search and we're staffing these positions, it's something we take very, very seriously. And so in matching that leader to that city or whatever that entity is, when we match those together, we are a link in that service, in that leadership capacity. So we take those things very, very seriously. And to be able to have that sort of influence is, it's a very humbling experience. And again, we take it seriously, and we try to make that a perfect match.
Yeah, that's the important thing. It's not just what somebody looks like on paper or what they talk about. It's a great fit for that community as well. So, James, can you tell me, as we move into 2026, what are you most excited about? Something personal, something happened at CLEAR, or even broader trend in local government?
I'm excited to be, again, a part of CLEAR and everything that we do to help out local governments. I do think that there are a lot of trends in local government that we can assist in a great deal. We've got a lot of things in society right now that give people some difficulties. But I'm excited to be able to go in and help not only with staffing, helping to staff positions with searches, but also to do some training and do some work with those local entities so that we can hopefully help them make a difference, whether it's assessing how they currently operate or just straight up leadership training.
Always important, that training aspect.
Mm-hmm.
James, can you tell me who or what inspired you most this year, either inside or outside of work?
I'm always looking for nuggets. And so when I pass people that I see on a regular basis, I'm oftentimes ask them things like, hey, James, what's the good word of the day? Or something to that effect. And I did that one day, and one fellow looked back at me, and it was interesting. And he says, well, it's a Thursday, and it's my favorite day of the week. I thought, I said, do tell. And he said, well, every Thursday before work, I have a muffin. And every Thursday after work, I get a haircut. And I said, you get a haircut every Thursday? Yes, he said, I do. He had me somewhat dumbfounded, but so I asked him, I said, is it a particular flavor of muffin? And he said, well, I like to mix it up a bit. And I said, well, buddy, you kind of live on the edge there. And finally he said, but I think I'd prefer blueberry. I thanked him and I went on my way. One of the things that he taught me with that was the single most prevalent attribute for success, research tells us, is the ability to self-regulate. This gentleman has regulated his life to the extent that he has made Thursdays a highlight of the week with his muffin and his haircut. And he is also the picture of self-control. Your stick may not be a muffins and haircuts, but it may be something else. But I was very, very impressed.
You got to love the simple things in life.
Yes, sir.
James, can you tell me one thing you've learned about yourself or your leadership this year?
For the past almost 30 years, I've developed a leadership style. We all have our own personal ones. And one of those is I always seek to solve problems. When you start telling me about something, while you are speaking, I'm trying to solve your problems so that by the time we end our conversation, I can have something to tell you. I'm involved now in executive coaching. And as a coach, you don't ever give advice. As a coach, you simply ask the questions and have that individual pull those answers from within themselves. So to be able to just put the brakes on the problem solving and make sure that I ask the right questions to lead that executive to their own answers has been a learning process for me.
Yeah, I like solving problems as well. It doesn't always work as well at home if you're always trying to solve somebody else's problems, though.
That is completely whole different subject side, brother. I'm not the one to give advice on that.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Can you tell me one thing that stood out to you about Clear's culture in 2025?
Well, I've known several of the people, yourself and Michael Bays and the rest of them I've gotten to know over time very well. One of the things is that Mike reiterates to all of us, and I see it resonate down through, is the foundation of faith that this organization is actually built on. I think that's very important. In a world that is known for its volatility, ambiguity, uncertainty, and those sorts of things, to have that foundation of faith that's immovable, going to undergird not only what you do, but how you do it. Beyond impressed, I'm very grateful for that.
It definitely is nice to have that bedrock, that foundation, like you said. So, James, can you tell me, was there a book, a podcast, other than ours, or media you came across this year that you think other leaders would benefit from?
I didn't just come across it this year. I sort of revisited James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's been out for about 7 years, but the concept with Atomic Habits is that you can make change your habits, and it has such a big effect like a mushroom cloud. However, it's a double entendre. The changes that lead to that mushroom cloud are really the size of an atom. So make very, very tiny changes in what you do it on a regular basis. It will, over time, change your identity and, of course, change what you accomplish in life. So if you haven't seen the book or haven't read it, I would highly recommend it as a must.
I don't think I've had that one, so I'm going to check it out on my upcoming vacation. Along with, we've got one other book that we're going to be doing a podcast on next year. Do you want to tell the listeners a little sneak peek?
I will. Recently had the opportunity to visit with the author of a book called Depopulation. Depopulation is about just that. Global birth rate has declined to the extent that, and we've never seen this in the history of the world, but every country on the face of the earth has a declining birth rate, and that has never happened. There have always been some places when one countries go down, some go up, but for the first time ever, there's a declining birth rate in every country on the face of the globe. So the question is, what does that mean to cities? What does that mean to states, countries? What does that mean to economies, infrastructures? All of those things are keenly important. Certainly there are the state and the country that are going to be exceptions, that you're going to have high growth areas, you can have low growth areas, but overall, the birth rate is declining significantly. So it's a study of that book, and so it's going to be fun to get into.
Yeah, I'm excited. And, I'm in my role most of the time when I'm listening to how the city is going to grow and things like that. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of, classes you can take about growth of the city, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of literature out there about how to run a city when you're declining. So it'll definitely be an interesting topic to talk to. We're going to wrap up with one last prompt for you. And this one I think is important going into the new year. What one lesson or encouragement would you like to pass on to leaders of local school districts, local cities, and other government executives based on something you have learned, lived, or overcome?
That is a loaded question. Well, I would say this. It doesn't matter what you're the leader of. Leadership concepts are pretty much universal. But in today's world especially, number one, a leader needs to keep in mind that you are always on. With the advent, of course, now for several years, the cell phone, you should always act as if you are being filmed, as if you're on camera, because chances are you are. And so not only that, but you're an influencer. Everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you say, somebody's always watching you, even if they don't know who you are. You're going to be influencing people positively, negatively, or worst off, none at all. But as a leader, people are going to be watching you. Don't be consumed by trendiness. I see way too much today of profanities and vulgarities coming from our elected officials and people who are supposed to be real influencers of our time. Stand out in the crowd. Don't join in with that. Have some diplomacy. Be a statesman in the way you conduct yourself. And in that way, influence in such a way that you truly stand out. So that's what I would say.
I think those are great words, and hopefully they'll help somebody. Well, I want to thank you for coming on this podcast and the other programs that we've had you on. I really appreciate that you've brought all those topics, I think, to us. So thank you so much for helping us bring some information to people this year, and I'm looking forward to next year. So wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will catch everybody next time. Thanks.
Merry Christmas, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.